I am Sarah Ruffi, the woman warrior lawyer. And today my guest is Mahdi Murad. Mahdi, how about if you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, Sarah. Hello, Mom. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Good. Yes, so my name is Mahdi Murad. I am originally Kurdish from Kurdistan region of Iraq, but I have recently become a Dutch citizen. So I could say I'm Kurdish from Amsterdam.
Amsterdam.
I'm working for Juniper Networks. It's an IT networking company. May 1st would be 6 years with them. So it's been quite some time. I have recently moved to Dubai and I'm covering Middle East market, working as a sales account manager.
So you sell big fancy computer systems all over the Middle East.
Yes, that's what I do.
And that's what you started doing after college, right? After you were done with school?
Almost. After I was done with school, I was still working as a sales manager, but in a different industry. I was more working with a local company selling home appliances, TV, all this stuff for the home appliances for about just almost a year. And then I got the opportunity to be hired by Cisco Systems. And then I went to Amsterdam. And then that's when my journey with the IT started.
And how did you go from selling appliances to selling computer systems?
Yeah, to be honest, I studied business and I had a minor in IT as well. And I always loved sales. I always wanted to work in sales myself. And that was my kind of dream job to do after I graduated. So in Kurdistan or in Iraq generally, the opportunities were limited when I graduated. So, and I didn't want to be without job. And that opportunity came as it was a very good opportunity covering all Iraq as a sales manager, meeting a lot of clients, recruiting new clients. So that was my first sales job. I mean, I did smaller sales jobs while I was still in school, but the actual career sales, that was starting from there. But in the background, I was always looking to get a job in one of these big companies. I wanted to be engaged more in IT. I wanted to, at the beginning, to be honest, Microsoft was my dream company to work for. And I applied probably above 100 times. But at that time, I think it was just not meant to be. I was in Iraq. It was very difficult to get a job there. You had to go outside Iraq, and it didn't happen, but I didn't give up. It was very interesting that one day, a friend of mine, my university colleague, I really want to mention his name, Taha. He was working with me in the marketing department, and he came to me. He said, "Mahdi, I really think you will be perfect for this position. And man, it is Cisco. It's one of the best companies in the world. And I know you're always interested in IT. Apply." And I was like, man, this opportunity is in Amsterdam. What are the opportunities or the probabilities that I will get this job? And I was like, okay, let me just apply. And I applied, and it was very interesting. I had a friend of mine who was Iraqi, visiting from the US. He helped me with the video. I did a simple video, just being myself. The requirement was send a CV and also send a sales pitch. And I did it. 3 weeks later, I got an email. You've been accepted to the next stages of interview. Went to Istanbul, did a sales assessment. Within a month, I was out of Kurdistan and I was in Amsterdam. So it went very, very smooth, very fast, and I feel I'm very, very lucky. Like a lot of luck was involved. I have to be humble on that, but I also, when the luck comes, you also need to grab it. Yeah. So,
well, was it lucky or perfect timing?
I think it was the combination of everything. I was doing well in that company, but I always wanted to go to Europe or go back to the US at that time. After my Mepi program, I knew I would be more, yeah, it would be better for me to go to outside Iraq, at that time. So
But
I
it was
was
also,
always looking.
and it was a challenge to get outside of Iraq at that time, wasn't it?
It was almost next to impossible because I mean, unless a company sponsors you, unless like the program, I'm sure we're gonna talk a little bit about the program as well
Yeah.
later, will help you getting a visa with it or travel with the Iraqi passport. It's not possible. So I think it was a combination of luck, perfect timing, and everything, and then it just happened. And then I went to Amsterdam. I was supposed to stay for 1 year there. And then after 1 year, I was supposed to come back to Dubai, work for Cisco at that time. But again, with the passport complications, I couldn't just smoothly move to Dubai. There's a lot of visa requirement. Iraqi passport, was it accepted or not accepted? They didn't give me the work visa right away. So, and then Cisco extended my contract for another year. And then while within this year, I thought, okay, I loved Amsterdam so much. I made best friends ever there. I loved the lifestyle there. I said, you know what? Maybe this is the place that I can stay. So I applied for different companies, and then Juniper Networks offered me a job. And then I said, okay, that's my home now, at least. So then it happens just like that. I stayed for 6 years there, get my houses there, my everything there. So now I really feel like I'm from there. Uh,
Well, and part of your goal while you were in Amsterdam, knowing that travel with an Iraqi passport was difficult, was to become a citizen of the Netherlands.
yes, I did everything in my power to meet all the requirements. I learned Dutch. I behaved very well. I will still do.
Oh,
And
Mahdi, you're a good guy. That's why.
and then yeah, I am very blessed and very lucky, very fortunate that I'm holding one of the most strongest passports in the world. I literally went from the worst passport in the world, which is Iraqi passport, to the top 5 best passports in the world. So I'm very blessed, and I do feel like yeah, I became Dutch very well. So I also did all the requirements. I learned Dutch, everything. So I'm happy. I'm very, very happy that happened.
So once you decided to get your Dutch passport, how long did the process take you?
Yeah, after 5 years, after you meet the requirements, and then exactly after 5 years, you can apply. And I applied. Usually it's 1 year, within 1 year, and they have a 1 year window to get back to you. But because of most of the time it's around 7 to 8 months, everything is finished. But this year Corona came and all the stuff last year, so it took me 9 months or something, like almost actually exactly like 9 months and 20 days when I got it.
Okay. Now, English and Dutch aren't the only foreign languages that you speak.
No.
How many do you speak?
I do speak okay, Arabic, English, Kurdish, Dutch, that's 4. My Turkish is very, very basic. I have knowledge of it. My Persian is understanding is okay, but I thought I was speaking Persian as well, but I think the lady is not approving it so much yet. I need to improve it, but Kurdish and Persian are very close together. So I do understand a lot of it, and I think I can also speak some of it as well. So I think I speak 4 fluently, very well, and I speak Persian, I would say intermediate, let's say, and Turkish basic. So hopefully I will make all the 6 fluent.
Didn't you also speak Italian?
A little bit,
A little bit.
a
Okay.
little bit.
So that's
Like
7.
basic. Yes, basic.
That's really
I was going
impressive.
to Italy. I was going to Italy a lot at that time, so I learned some.
Learned enough to get by, right?
Yes, yes,
Now I want to talk about when you went to work for Cisco.
yes.
Your territory was Iraq,
Yes, I only had Iraq as a territory.
but they
And
also
even
do
within,
a, I'm sorry, go ahead.
yeah, but also within Iraq, I had some very limited number of accounts. So Cisco model was different. But yeah, I was covering only Iraq.
And you were pretty much breaking into that market for Cisco at the time. Is that right?
They had a good base as well, but in the Kurdistan region at that time, it was the strongest in terms of economy. So most of the projects they had, it was there. And me being local, it made a lot of ways easier for them, for us to work.
Now, I recall that they had a sales competition, and if you hit certain numbers, then you were rewarded with a trip to the States.
So we have sales kickoff. We had sales kickoff. It was for all the sales organization. So every year we had sales kickoff in August. We were going there then. So the target was for the whole team actually. If you do double digit, we will take you back to Vegas. And most of the time we all did double digit and we went to Vegas. Yes. I went 2 times with them.
You did. And I think you saw Rough Eyes. Was it both of those times? Yeah, one time Dwight and I came and saw you, and the other time Dwight and Tony came and saw you.
Yes, the first time you and Dwight came.
Um,
I was actually looking for the picture. I have it because I still haven't unpacked everything. As I moved 1 month ago to this apartment, I was looking for the picture in the Stats Fair, you know?
I got that.
No, it was a roller coaster in New York, New
The
York. I
roller
survived the
coaster.
roller coaster.
Yep.
Yeah, I still have that picture.
And I have the one of us, we took a group shot in one of the malls, I think, that night.
Yes.
I
Lama
have
was there
that
as
one.
well.
Yep, I have that one on my dresser, actually.
Okay, nice.
You said you always wanted to do sales.
Yes.
I think I heard a story about you being a salesman at a very young age to pay for school.
Yes, so actually my sales started even before I get into the university. I was always like, because I came from a very mid family, financially we were very challenged at that time. So when I was in primary school, I was not so much working, but in high school, in secondary school, every time I was going to school in the morning until 12 o'clock, from 8 to 12, 3 days in a week, and 2 days I was going from 12 to 5. It was because there was not enough buildings, so they divided school in my city, in my town, between two. So when I was going in the morning, and quickly after the morning, my classes were done, I was running home bringing ice cream to school so that I can sell ice cream. So I was selling ice cream. And many times also I sold other things like sunflowers and stuff like this that are common at that age. And then yeah, I during the summers I was always selling either ice cream. I was selling something always during summer break times.
It's probably why you and Dwight get along, because he was a
Yes.
natural born salesman when he was a kid too.
Yeah. We never have enough time to talk about all this when I'm with Dwight.
There's never enough time to talk about anything
Yeah,
when you're with
that's
Dwight.
true. That is true.
Um, how did you, so you had to pay for your secondary education.
I mean, it was free in school, but of course you have expenses. You have a lot of other things to pay. You need to buy clothes, you need to buy paper and notebooks, you need to buy pens and pencils. When you don't have money, even those cheap things are very expensive.
And that's what you were
So
selling stuff to pay for.
yeah, to
So
pay for
that,
that, and also to pay for that, and also I always had the sense of being independent, mom, since I'm really young. And my family is big, as you know. I have 5 brothers and 3 sisters. So it was very difficult for my dad to cope up with all of us. And the situation was not the best. So I had to do something, you know. For example, I love to ride the bicycle, but I never was able to afford to buy a bicycle. So when I was selling ice cream, I could make some extra money, so I could rent a bicycle for half an hour. So let's say I was paying 50 cents dollar, or let's say, yeah, 1 dinar, Iraqi dinar, to ride a bike for half an hour. So there was a place you could rent these bikes for half an hour to 1 hour or 2 hours. So sometimes sales was good. I was renting it for 2 hours. Those days were the happy days.
Those were the happy days. Isn't it funny how your perspective changes, that when you were a kid, you were hustling to make money to be able to afford these things because they weren't necessities that your parents could afford. But you didn't look at it as a true hardship, and how you use those building blocks that you learned with that hustle even today, that they just
Well,
became part of you.
yeah, I mean, I did hope that I want to have a different life, childhood life for my kids for sure. But at the
Absolutely.
same time, I growing up and now thinking about it or talking about it, it really gives me goosebumps to think about it, because I think that experience coming through this childhood made me probably contributed a lot to where I'm standing right now, to my success. I'm still connected to those people. I'm still like, you know, coming from this type of lifestyle make this lifestyle today easier for me. It made really this lifestyle easier for me. I don't want my kids to have this. It was very difficult. It was not convincing as well, you know. But at the same time, it was what it was. I was not the only one uh, that lived like this. We had in my town, all my friends were like that, so we could, you know, we grew up this way.
Yep.
It was just the period of time that we felt that way. That we had to deal with it. But to be honest, uh, I always learned, even now. My dad always taught us that, you know, we there's always people that that have worse life than us. So even at that time, when I had to do all this, I was thinking, okay, I can pay to ride a bicycle for half an hour, but there's many people who cannot have this, even this half an hour.
Yep.
So I am carrying this model even today. Today I have a very good life. I can help my family. I can, you know, I live in one of the best places in Dubai, all this thing, but at the same time, I never forget where I came from, and I never forget, because now I'm living in a city. If I spend $10 million right now, I can still not compete. I can go out, a car might be parked next to my car for $30 million. So I don't carry this model. I always carry the model, okay, I have way more than I need, and there's millions who are dreaming to have 1% of what I have. That's always been my way of living, and it always makes me a positive and happy person. And I'm very blessed that I grew up like this. I love, and I thank my family and thank my dad to, you know, put me in this type of path.
It's important to always remember where you came from. And
Yeah.
one thing that you truly inspire me is your humility and the gratitude that you have for what you have and what you've earned and what you've accomplished. And the other thing that I find really amazing and wonderful about you is how you share that, and you share it with your parents so that they can now have a better life than what they were able to give to you and your siblings when you guys were kids.
Yeah, to be honest, mom, my best, like the happiest moments for me are not when I can buy a very nice car that even I would never dream about it, or when I can live in a very nice city, or when can I travel to anywhere. I think the best moments are for me when my parents and my family needs me and I'm saying, yes, I got you. I think my mom's dream so much, like she was born in 1950. I think since she is 20 years old, she really wants to go to Mecca to Hajj, you know? And all these years she couldn't. Um, 1 year and a half, 2 years ago, when I made it happen for her, that I almost said, okay, even right now, if I die, it's fine for me. You know, this was one of my dreams. When I was video calling with her, and I've always seen my mom smile. Of course, I love it, but I could tell, like, I never seen this type of smile in my mom's face when she was in Hajj. And that was her dream. And when I could contribute and made that happen for her, wow, I said, okay, that is something special. So right now, like most of the time, she talks to me, we talk daily. She asks me how we doing, how are things. And the good thing is I know they know I put my life together. They know they should not be worried about me, and that's what they always say. Mahdi, you are a very movable person. One time there, one time there. They were very afraid of something is gonna happen to me. Once in a while, I was in Baghdad, and then I was in the U.S. traveling too much. She was like, I don't know what's gonna happen to you, but now at least I convince them that I have put my life together, so they should not be worried about me. And that's the biggest accomplishment the thing I have accomplished in my, I think, in my current status.
So what were when you came to the US as a MEPI, which is
Yeah.
the Middle East Partnership Initiative,
Yes.
how old were you when you came over here? Do you
It's
remember?
26, right? 26. Oh, 25. Yeah, 25.
Okay. I
Yeah.
wasn't I couldn't remember. I thought you were younger than that. Um,
I was 25.
what did you have to go through to get into the program? Well, first off, whose idea was it and what did you have to go through to get in the program?
I mean, I was very lucky to study in the American University of Iraq Suleimani, AUIS. That is a completely liberal arts school that is opened in 2007, I think. Yeah, in 2007 in the Kurdistan region in Suleimania. And I got accepted to that university. And this is, I think, one of the best projects that the post-Iraqi Saddam Hussein regime brought to uh, Iraq. I think it's one of the best things that happened to young people like me and thousands of young people like me. Without that university, where I am today, it would not be possible. It would not be possible for me to go to the US as well, because that university introduced us all to this exchange programs. And above all, that university taught us English. And without speaking English, we would not be able to go there as well. So I have to give a lot of credit to my university. So this program came, I applied 4 years to this program and I was not accepted. Other people were accepted because it's very limited. 4 years I got rejected. The fifth year I got accepted. I got accepted the fifth year, and thanks for the program organizers. To be honest, it went very smooth, and we had some very good friends in Baghdad who were studying at the university as well. So when we went there, they also helped us. Although the Baghdad situation was not good, but they helped us to, they hosted us in their homes. That's the beautiful thing about Iraq. We're very hospitable people. Like no matter which part of the country you are from, what you see in the media, it's always, oh, Sunni, Shia, Kurdish, they're fighting. But when an Iraqi meet another Iraqi, no matter where it is, that is it. That's a big hug and smile. Oh, you Iraqi. So a friend of mine hosted me in their house. He organized everything. They take me from the airport to their home and then to the embassy. I did the interviews. for the visa. They got my passport, and then they send my passport back to Suleimania, and it happens within a month. Then after that, actually, to be honest, Mom, when I got accepted to this program, you might laugh about it, but I've seen, and I have to be honest, like, as you say, I say things the way they are. I didn't expect anything, to be honest. I was not explored a lot to the US culture, a lot to all this experience. All I was excited about it, I was like, okay, I'm gonna, for the first time in my life, fly with a plane, you know?
I'm going to go on a plane. You know, and it's such a short flight for that first one.
It was, and I was awake 14 hours. I liked it. I was in the window looking down. Wow, this plane. So I'm that type of person, you know. This was my expectation. All I was thinking about, I didn't know what's gonna happen there, but I said at least I'm gonna say I flew with a plane. That was it, the first time, you know. So and nowadays, look at how time changed. Nowadays, when I have a flight, I'm like, oh,
Not again.
again. So that, yeah, not again. But once I got to the US, I mean, first of all, the program changed my life a lot. And again, being very frank and honest, all I wanted to, before I joined this program, all I wanted was to really graduate just like any other student in Kurdistan or in Iraq, graduate, get a simple job, get married, make kids, live the life. That is what actually was in my mind, if I'm honest with you, Mom. But this program, when I went there, I met some really amazing people. I met one of my mentors there was Uday. Uday, he was Iraqi professor, and we start talking a lot about the situation. I opened my mind. I realized, wow, there's way more than what I'm thinking. There's way more potential for us. I realized, okay, moving to another country outside Iraq, running away from the bad situation, providing a better future for myself and myself and my family, it's not impossible anymore. I realized, okay, I can do it. I can do it. Why not? So when I went back, I always tell my friends, I am gonna live here. Exactly what I read that time a book, The Secret. I am sure if you know about it. I really every day, Mom, every day I was going home. I was visualizing. Okay, I'm gonna go to Europe. I'm gonna get a job there. I'm gonna do this, and I was always thinking, and I believed in it. I knew this is gonna happen, and if I say what I exactly imagined it, the, when I was a senior in the university, before even I graduated, every single thing, 100%, even more than what I expected, happened exactly how I wanted. And it is so inspiring and amazing to think about it. Anybody I know, the first thing I tell them, have you read The Secret? It's an amazing book. And of course, knowing you and getting like being so lucky that a family, an American family, I mean, you know how media works. I've never raised in my family to have bad intentions or bad imaginations, but I just didn't know how it is. I thought we are just two different human beings in two different planets. But when you hosted me, and you guys came, picked us in the airport, and this is, you gave me your son's room. Okay, you can sleep here. And in the morning I woke up, nothing was changed. It feels like I woke up in my own family. Breakfast was there. Nobody took things serious. I was like, wow, I'm part of this family now. This is amazing, you know? And start playing with the boys, start going to the office, helping around. I loved it. And that also opened my mind. I said, okay, so I will not die if I leave Iraq. I can have a good life as well after this. Why not? So then that also contributed to my plans for the future. So I can't thank you enough for sure. Uh,
Absolutely. Well, and it
so
seems to me that when you first came into our house, I think one of the first nights we had the conversation about the media
yeah,
and how you're supposed to be afraid of the people in other countries, and the media preys on doom and gloom and fear because clearly that's what sells.
Exactly.
And that wasn't your reality when you actually got to the United States.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, as you know, there's a lot of beautiful things happening in Iraq, in all the countries in the Middle East, that the situation is bad. But which media talks about it? No, but I was a journalist. I mean, in the university as an extracurricular, I was an editor-in-chief. I was a reporter. I did a lot of journalism work. And I tell everybody before I even go to the US and get opened up to different types of job, I know I always wanted to be a sales, but I also had some crazy ideas. I wanted to be a war correspondent when I was seeing the movie. I wanted to be like this type of journalist if I want to be. But when I got exposed to the actuality of the media, I actually thought, okay, this is not something I would enjoy, you know. First of all, of course, there was no money in it, and I grew up. I wanted to change that part of my life as well, you know. It's not everything, but it can do a lot of
It
things.
certainly helps.
It certainly helps. So, but yeah, I mean, everything we hear, all Americans are like this. They hate Iraqis because some people, their families lost, but we also lost a lot of families. I even at the first time, the first day, I still remember. I hope I will see this lady one day to apologize. I think I was very young. I was not experienced at all in the Mepi. So one lady was there. She said, yeah, she was in Iraq and a soldier. And I just randomly asked her, how many Iraqis did you kill? And she was like, laughingly, she said, depends how much they bothered me. And then I didn't know. I was just coming like this, you know, I was coming there to prove that why are you doing this instead of learning from it? But then I was too young. And then at the beginning of the program, and then I was like, okay, let me observe a little bit more. Then I realized, even I asked a question one time. We were all Mepis together because we divided into different universities. I asked the program manager, why are you bringing us here? Like, why are you spending all this money to bring us here? I asked exactly this question.
And what'd
And
you get
she
for an
was,
answer?
yeah, she was like, this is one of the, I was hoping somebody asked this question. It was at the end of the program when I asked. I said, I can never thank you enough for giving me this opportunity. I loved every minute of it. It changed, certainly changed my life. But why? Why are you doing this? And for all the reasons we talked about the media, about this, he said, that's why we do. You guys are going to be the future leaders of your own country. You guys are choosing to be the smartest, or I would say one of the luckiest as well, to be honest, because I had a lot of friends who were way smarter than me, and they didn't get the chance to go to the US or get a job in Cisco. I was very lucky, a lot of luck engaged, but when luck
Luck had
comes,
nothing to do with it, Mahdi.
yeah, but like, I mean, it was just, I have to say it because a lot of friends of mine were even way smarter than me and they didn't get it. I'm mentioning this because I was hoping that they also could get it. But anyways, she said, you will be the future leaders of this country, and I want you guys to talk about it. It is not what media, it is not what everybody thinks. So all my time, to be honest, after I am back from that program and after Georgetown University experience, I've always been talking to people about this. And a lot of people after me went to the same program, and it is amazing. It is very amazing how this little step makes such a huge impact on a lot of people, you know.
So what were some of your biggest takeaways from the Mepi program?
I think number one, I learned the the word impossible to achieve something should not be in my brain. We are always been exposed to, oh, that's impossible. You know, in Kurdish we always say that's impossible, that's impossible. But after this program, that word didn't mean anything to me. A lot of people laughed at me for what I was saying. I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna get that. And today, hopefully they will see that, okay, they can laugh, but I actually made it. So
I was
hopefully
going
this,
to say, are they still laughing, or are they like,
yeah,
holy man, he said he was going to do it. We thought he was crazy and he did it.
yeah. So that's one thing I learned, that there's a lot opportunities out there we need to achieve. I think another takeaway of the program was it ties a little bit to the first, the impossible, but also it opens my mind so much that it is nice to be involved to different cultures. It's not as scary as everybody say to go build life in a different country. That's not, I think even if Iraq had a perfect life, even if Iraq was one of the safest countries and I had a perfect job after Mepi program, I would still want to go out and explore the world. That's so it's not like I ran away from the problems, but I actually went toward some of the different things. You know, I wanted to do unusual. I didn't want just to be like anybody. You know, I needed to change the environment. I needed to change myself. I needed to learn about different things. And I think that is another thing I took away. And maybe also taught me that ah, I like to travel. I was happy when my dad was able to take me from a city to another city in Kurdistan. But after maybe I said, no, I need to go abroad. I need to travel more. And since that day on, I always travel. I love traveling. And that's why I get a job that made me travel a lot. It's if I don't travel, I mean, during the easy circumstances, like I can't wait until this Corona situation is over so I can always travel. Traveling, it became one of my hobbies. Before that, I knew it was just a dream, and I didn't even have the courage to go after that dream. After, you know, I wanted to travel, but it was just like, okay, travel where, how?
It was
But that
impossible,
maybe
right?
it was impossible, yes. But then after maybe I told you there was no more impossible things for me, and
Well,
it
the word
happened.
itself says I'm possible,
Yeah, exactly.
right?
If you break it down, exactly.
You know, and one of the expressions Tony Robbins has, and I actually have it on a wall here, is if you can't, you must. If you must, you can.
Very interesting.
So it kind of takes away the whole impossible, because if it's possible, if it's impossible, you must.
Yeah.
And if you
Wow.
must do it, there has to be a way.
Exactly. I mean, it's I've been telling my friends so much after two of my friends also left and after university, and one lives in Canada, the other one lives in Nashville. Uh, I was with him 2019 in a road trip.
Yep.
So I keep trying telling people, you know, it's possible from here on. If I can do it, if I could do it, I guarantee so many people in my university, at least in this university, can do it easily as well, because I was not the smartest. I was not bad, but I was not the smartest of my friends, to be honest. You know, I was just the type of person that I believed that I can do it, and I went after it. I think this, if all of my friends were also thinking like me about the word impossible, I think they would all get it as well. I think that was the key for me to open all these doors.
Well, I think part of it is you are a natural born salesman. And
Yeah,
I say that with love and respect. But as being a natural born salesman, that means you understand people.
yeah,
And when you understand people, you can relate to them and you can help them. It's not that you're pushing what you have on them, it's helping them to solve their own issues and create their own possibilities.
exactly. I think another I learned from my mentors as well. I have never acted like a salesperson. Even when I was selling ice cream, I was mostly focusing what will this ice cream brings to them instead of to me. And
It's all
still,
about them.
yeah, it's still until today as well. I'm very straightforward, honest person when I get a question about the products, about everything. And thanks to Dutch as well, from Dutch people I learned to be even more straightforward.
Hmm.
Um,
Funny how that works.
yeah, because
Because you know
you know,
I'm half Dutch, right?
Yeah, yes, I know, but it helps for us, you know, our culture is always about being afraid that you offend someone, even it's, you know, it's not offending, but you just have recalculate so many things before you give a feedback. But in Netherlands, they just give the feedback, and once you're used to it, it is actually really efficient and nice. I like it, you know, to some good extent.
What you see is what you get.
Yeah. And I like the idea. I don't know. I liked it. But up to today as well, I've been questioned so many times. I mean, we have a lot of competitors with Juniper Networks. You know. I don't want to mention the names, but we have a lot of competitors. When customers are asking me, I'm very honest. I'm saying, yeah, they can also do the job. But today, I think people are buying from me, not buying the product most of the time, because I know I do everything I can to make it easy for them. That's
Well,
what I.
first off, it's how may I serve? What what's your problem? What's your challenge? And how can I solve that? And how can I help you? And when you're professional, you're open, you're honest, and you're caring, and you're a problem solver,
Yeah,
that rapport and that relationship is what they're valuing. The
exactly.
product solves their problem, but you're the conduit between them and the product.
I mean, even if the product is the best, but if your behavior toward them is not the best, then you
You're going
don't
to lose
get,
it.
yeah, you're gonna lose it. So I think for me, it's always like this. I mean, that's the process, you know, sales process. Yeah, what keeps you awake at night, all these cliche things that everybody is knowing. But I think today's world, customers know everything about the product before I even talk to them about it, to be honest. We are in a very different model of sales. I think we can call ourselves more consultants in terms of how we integrate solutions to their priorities. I think today as well is, I mean, customers can go and just 10 minutes before I get into the meeting, tell me the strength and the weaknesses of this product on Google, and then everything will come up, to be honest. So it's all about relationship management today. It's all about, you know, all the things we talked about, being honest and being bold. And this is one of our strategies as well. I always like to just say it. And if you take it, you take it. If you don't take it, I mean, I cannot force to you, but this is what I have. This is what I can do for you.
This is what I have to offer.
Yeah. And another thing, a lot of salespeople, they tend to spend so much time talking about competition. I've never talked about competition unless I've been asked, good or bad. I
Well,
never talk about it.
why would you? Because when you're
Exactly.
talking about the competition, you're selling them. You aren't selling yourself or your product.
It was funny, like one time I had a customer meeting. Actually, the customer told me this is the first time a salesperson doesn't come start with, let me tell you how we are better than the ex vendor.
Oh, wait, look at politics in the US. It's not this
Yeah.
is what I have to offer, it's this is why he's bad.
Yeah, exactly, you know?
Well, I have my opinion about candidate A. Now you tell me why I should believe what you're trying to sell me. What are you
Yeah.
going to do for me? You
It's
know, the
strange,
old
huh?
what's in it for me is every buyer's, they don't care what's in it for you. What's in it for me?
Yeah, exactly. It's very interesting if you think about it, like how things get trended these days or how things get changed. Like, yeah, I mean, the US politics, I actually stopped focusing a lot on politics
That's a good
for a
thing.
while. It's that's why I'm no longer on social media as well. It's just too much. But it's crazy how things go around. Yeah, it's very we living in a very, like, things change very fast these days. One thing could be a trend now, tomorrow another thing completely different could be a trend, and everybody talks about it. That's the power of social media, of course.
Yeah.
Nowadays, there's no more distance. Everything is on a screen for us, you know.
And we carry them with us everywhere.
Yes. Yes.
So you've talked a lot about your career and where you've come and where you started. How do you define success?
I would say something, it is a little bit generic, but we can also talk about it. I think success for me is when I sit down in my home and I'm like, okay, I'm happy, you know? I think for me, once you realize you're a happy person, that's success. For a lot of people, that happiness comes when there's 1 million in their bank account. For a lot of people is when they find their lady and they're happy with it. For a lot of people is about when they're around their family or anything, you know, they achieve. But I think for me, uh, I have to say, when you realistically, we're not faking it, you're really happy. That is when I feel like I'm successful. Like for the last, I mean, in Holland, I was happy, you know,
Mhm.
but my happiness had so many dependencies that I could not control. It was not in my control. Control. If one variable was changed, let's say if I didn't get the passport, I was not being happy, you know. So these things, but when you make enough uh, variables under your own control about your own life, and you can control them, and those things that are bringing you the initial happiness, that is success means for me. Nowadays, I come home, I'm chilling in the balcony, and I know I have a safe setup, and I'm like, okay, now I'm really, really happy. You know, that is success for me. Even if I'm in a stage of my life, even if I have like $10 million, I think I will still be like, money is no longer. It is big part of it, of course. We cannot, deny that, but it's no longer that okay. I need to have this much to be happy. I don't count amount anymore. I have a setup that I can control. I control my life. I control my schedule, and I'm like, okay, that is done. This is what I was working for all my life, and I'm good now. I can travel anywhere I want. I can travel anywhere I want. I'm engaged in a good industry of work. I have built for my future as well. I have good friends. My family is safe. Good girlfriend, and I'm like, okay, what more? It's not like I give up. I still work hard. I still want to get there, get more stages. But if those stages didn't come, if they come after 10 years, I don't care because now I have good setup. I'm happy. And I think if anybody come home and can really, really be happy for what they have, what they achieved, and they have a setup of their life that, actually it's a happy life, that's the success. That means okay, they achieved their goal, they are successful people for me. And that's why I call myself successful, because now okay, I have my setup and everything is good. Life is good. That means I have done good things. I don't have a loan. I'm not in debt. I can pay my bills. I can travel. I have a house, a nice house. I can meet my friends. I once in a while I can go out. What more? I'm very happy. So that means I am successful. That for me. That's what how I define success.
That's how we define it too.
Yeah, good to
And
know.
it's an internal job.
It
Everybody
is.
can define success differently, but when
Yeah,
you are truly happy
yeah.
and happy with who you are and where you are, I agree that that is success
And I realize, Mom, that happiness we're looking for, it is right with us.
all the time.
All the time. I didn't know. I always, before I get into this stage, I always thought my happiness is somewhere else. I need to go look for it and find it. But it is with us. Like it's really with me now. Okay, I can make myself miserable by going out, comparing myself to people, or blah, 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 all this stuff. But if I just sit down and say, okay, where I came from, what I have achieved, and where am I? And I think every person in every level of life can get into this, if they just sit down with themselves and talk about everybody, there's some level of improvement, of course.
Mhm.
I think they can find this happiness. I think the power of finding happiness, or the power of realizing that the happiness is with you, not with somebody else. Your happiness is with you, not with somebody else. That is the success, I think. A lot of people, a lot of us in some ages, we cannot get into this level to find, or to convincingly say, okay, I can make myself, like, I can be happy. The happiness is here. That's why they're not happy, you know? But I think once you really convince that it is there, you okay. I think it's happy.
And when you talk about that you got to this stage, did you have a breakthrough, or do you have mentors that you work with that helped you reach that point that happiness is success is an inside job, and being happy with where I am is success? How did you get there?
Definitely, that's a very good question. At certain age, we, especially young, you know, and at young age, we think we figured out all, we got it all. We think we know
We
all
know
of
it
it.
all.
We know it all. We think nobody can give us, nobody can understand us and give us, you know, advice. But for me, to be honest, career-wise, I think starting from career, of course, when you're young, when your career goes well, you will be, you know, that's the path to your success. You know, first you need to have a good career to build up on it. You know, you'll not be on the street, you can pay your bills, you can meet nice people on this. But I always have mentors. I always, even I think if I become the most influential person in the world, if I become Tony Robinson, you know, I think he also has somebody to look for. I think we cannot just be ourselves when we have to have mentors. Everybody, like, you will only realize that there's still a lot of room to learn when you talk to people who are more experienced than you. And that's always been my model. And at the beginning, when I just moved to Netherlands, I thought, okay, I'm special. I am one of the most special person in the world getting a job in Amsterdam. That's how I thought about it. But later stage, I realized, no, I should be really lucky that I got this. Let's realize, Mahdi, there was more smarter people than you, and you got luck. So let's not ruin it. Talk to smart people and learn from them. And that's where I realized, okay, I need to do it. So I always have mentors. I always have, for my career, for my life. And I think I always, like, when I was watching Snoop Dogg one time giving a speech about his, it is very funny, but I think a lot of times we need to thank ourselves as well, you know. For example, for me, I really, I was lucky enough to be able to realize who are good friends, who are good influences. I could go anyway. In Holland, me going from a town of Kurdistan to Holland, I could go either way. But I was very, very blessed that I went the right way. Friends are the best influences on you. I was miles away from my family and my dad and my parents all, but finding good friends is always good. And my friends in Netherlands, I like to say hi. They helped me a lot. Yeah, it was very nice. When you are around successful people, you become successful. Like, you either leave the cycle or you become successful. You have no choice.
Well, we are the average of the sum of the five people we hang around with the most.
Yeah, it
So
is.
do you want to be at the top of your circle or at the bottom of it, or somewhere in the middle?
I
The
think,
smartest person in the room is usually the one that's the quietest.
yeah, I think when you are in a circle of successful people, I see it that one day I am on top and another day I'm in the bottom, so we help each other.
Yep.
I've been on top of the circle many times, but I've also been in the bottom of the circle many times, and I got help. So that's why when you are open, when you trust a group of successful people, when you're open to listen to their feedback, um, then you learn. You will be on the top and you will be down. It's normal. My biggest problem when I started working with Cisco was I was doing presentation skills. The mentor was giving me presentation like feedback. I was arguing with him. No, but it is not like this in this part of the world. Instead of saying, okay, let me apply it and see how it is. My biggest problem was I didn't know how to take feedback. I always thought I knew more. But once I realized feedback is good, listening to those people is good. Just give it a chance. You can take it or leave it, the feedback. Sometimes you get I sometimes have received very, very bad feedback. Very bad feedback. If I was following that feedback, I would become nothing. But I listened to it, at least I listened to it. I said, okay, maybe he said this. Let me ask somebody else and see what he is or she is gonna say. And then you realize the right answer. This is how I came actually.
So with the different mentors that you've had, what's some of the best advice that you've received along the way?
I think the one advice that helped me a lot is not having the fear being myself. A lot of times I pretended to be somebody else just for the sake of being accepted in something very stupid. Sorry for the language, mom, you know? A lot of times I've been forcing myself not to act a certain way, not to be myself. And I never, for a few years, I never found the right, I was able to find the right people because I always pretended to be a different Mahdi until I realized I don't care. I want to speak the way I want. I want to talk the way I want. I want to do some certain activities the way I want it. And I really don't care. Sometimes we need to have that. Sometimes we need to have this. I don't care. We need to be brave enough to act in a way that our body naturally suggests us to do. And we all know what are right and wrong things. Like some of them are black and white, very clear. But in a certain daily activities, I always pretended to be a different Mahdi. I always say, oh, this is this group of people. I should do that and that. And now I look back, I'm like, it was very easy to tell that I was faking it. So one advice I got was just be yourself, Mahdi, you know? Don't be afraid that not being yourself, you know, will make you lose the job or lose a friend. These are not the right job or the right people around you if you lose them because you're not yourself. So this is one of the things I learned, that every mentor told me, just be yourself, be brave enough to be yourself. And it take a lot of effort. And sometimes I was doing it, I always checked on me. What do they think? What do they think? But I keep doing it. Nowadays, I am just me. If you are bothered, sorry, you cannot be
That's
around me.
your problem, not mine, right?
Yes, that's no longer my problem. And that is one of the best things actually that helped me to get to where I am. I am just me. I have my character. I'm defined by my character. Everybody who knows me, talks to me, they can define, okay, who Mahdi is. I don't give my information. I'm very mysterious in a lot of things. Only small circle of people knows a lot of details about me. But in generic situation, they know how Mahdi is and who Mahdi is, and that's it. And I really don't care if somebody is bothered with it. Sorry, then just don't be around.
Just a second. I'm going to
Yeah.
pause for just a second.
Yeah.
All right. So, gotta love it when things get in the way like life. So, anyway, one final question.
Yes.
If you could snap your fingers and change anything about the world today without any effort or work on your part, what would it be?
In my part,
Just snap your fingers and it changes.
I think I would act. I would be myself more soon, way sooner than in my life than I started. I figured out very late. I think if I had a chance, I would rewind time to act me and be me, exactly who I am for the earliest age possible. I think that would get me to way higher places. The rest, I have no regrets. It's always been lessons, learning from it, and that's it.
Awesome. Well,
Mm.
Mahdi, it's been a pleasure, and we'll have to do a round two. And if you've liked what you heard today, check out some of our other stories on you and your life with Sarah Ruffi, and subscribe, and you'll get updates when new interviews are released. So
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Sarah. It's been a pleasure. And yes, I look forward for the second round as well.
sounds great.